Wayans brothers, I just want to say, I love you. Marlon, Sean, Keenan Ivory, Damon, maybe other Wayanses I've forgotten about. Like, In Living Color was great. I love My Wife and Kids. Don't Be a Menace is incredibly funny. Like, I watched that Wayans brothers sitcom. I like that. I'm only saying this because I watched the trailer for Scary Movie 6. I wanted to like this movie. I even put it on my list of 10 movies that aren't like big blockbuster superhero movies that I'm excited for in 2026. And so far that list is doing okay. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, very good. Goat, like, it looked great, but the pacing was so obnoxious. It felt like it was edited by Coco Melon. Also, not that much basketball in the basketball movie. But anyway, Scary Movie 6 is another one of the movies that's on my list. I was at the perfect age for them. Brenda, Cindy, Shorty, Ray, like, I was pretty excited. And I saw the trailer, and the first thing I thought, like, my first impression was like, this looks like a well-made movie. Like, just, it looks well shot. It does not look cheap. It doesn't look like a cash grab. Like, it looks like they are trying to make a scary movie, but based on the horror movies of today. So love that. And then Wayans brother, whichever one of you is watching this, we do a pronoun joke. In year of our Lord 2026, we're making a pronoun joke, and just like the most basic kind of boring pronoun joke too, because like, I'm not the kind of person that doesn't think you can make jokes about specific things. I think you can make jokes about anything. It just has to work. Like, it has to be a fresh take. It has to feel right. But this joke is so old. It's a joke I would expect to see on like Real Time with Bill Maher or something. But the other thing that bugged me about this joke, and maybe over time bugged me more, because I rolled my eyes. I was like, whatever, making pronoun jokes in 2026. But what are you gonna do? Is that the premise for that joke barely connected to the horror movie thing. That joke can go with anything else. And I'm not even gonna say that all the jokes in this trailer are bad. Like the joke where they just go to the Final Destination Bloodlines house and they're like, oh, you look gross. That's something they don't say in that movie. And like, it is funny because like in those scenes where the girl is talking to her grandma, you're like, man, that grandma smells, that house smells very bad. Nobody's saying it, but like that, that's funny. And that joke comes from a premise that is specific to horror movies. Whereas this one, someone's being stabbed and someone else says,
he stabbed her.
And the pronoun person comes back with,
not her. My pronouns are they, them. He stabbed them.
And like, first of all, the energy is bad. You can't have it high and then continue to be high. If we're high, everybody's yelling and scared. For the pronoun thing, everybody dips down because that's how people really are with pronouns. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the Wayans brothers know this, right? Like, I have never in my entire life, and I've been corrected in some ways that are quite embarrassing about pronouns where like I have just forgotten, or I have met someone and then accidentally assumed a certain thing or whatever. The only way I have ever been corrected about a pronoun is like this. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. It's they, them. But anyway, it's always that. It's always like this little thing. And that contrasts with this big energy of the murder. If everybody in the scene is able to take a second, go down and then like acknowledge that. And then maybe Ghostface even apologizes for her. It's like, oh man, I'm sorry about that. It's gotta be tough. Some people just don't get it. And then the lady will be like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna do better. And then like, all right, cool. And he goes back to stabbing her. Like, I don't love that joke. I don't think I would put it in a version of this movie. And hey, that's the other great thing. This is a trailer. You can cut this stuff out of the movie. This doesn't have to be in there because I have not seen this with an audience yet. I imagine the Scream 7 audience that this trailer screened with for the first time was probably all over the place, right? Because it's a legacy sequel. It's a sequel to a legacy sequel, actually. So like, you probably had people that were young when the first one came out, then it's 25 years later. Now they're like older watching again. So you had like probably older people and then maybe also younger people because the Scream movies do have a lot of young stars. Like, I think that audience for Scream 7 would actually be a really good test case for this, and would love to hear, put it in comments or tweet it to me or whatever, what the reaction was at your theater. Because when I saw this, I like put my hand to my head. I was embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for that. They had like 15 years to make a new one of these. So many horror movies have come out between now and then. So many iconic horror movies too. And this weird like elevated horror where everything is about trauma and everybody's really sad and horror's really artsy and it's getting nominated for awards. Like, you got Get Out, Sinners, Weapons, It Follows. There's so many really cool iconic horror movies. The fact that the first joke here is just a pronoun gag, it's like, man, you are wasting time. I will say I'm really happy to see everybody back. I like that we're making fun of movies like Ma. I think Ma is a funny movie to make fun of. It's tough because a lot of these movies are also comedies. Like Ma is kind of a comedy. Mithrigan is kind of a comedy. Final Destination Bloodlines had like the funniest scene of all of last year. Is in that movie, a horror movie, because it was just so funny. Like Sinners is funny. You got Jordan Peele, a comedian, making movies like Nope and Get Out. You got Zach Krieger, a comedian, making movies like Barbarian and Weapons. So like comedy and horror, I feel like are even more connected than they used to be. And they always, there was always a little bit of that there. But like, I don't think it's ever been like this. So it is hard to make a movie parodying Terrifier, because Terrifier is kind of a comedy. You could convince me that the scene in this movie is the scene from Terrifier if you get rid of the mom on her phone, which is, that's a joke, but it's not good enough. It's not enough. You need more joke than that. But Wayans brothers, Marlon specifically, I saw an interview you did in Entertainment Weekly that made that pronoun joke in the beginning of the trailer make a lot of sense, and it worries me. And I just want to put something out to you. You've got plenty of time. This movie does come out for like 3 or 4 months. But in the interview, you said, what we're trying to do is bring back laughter. This is about bringing back comedy the way it used to be. And I think the only way to do it is you have to cancel culture. Again, if that sentence starts with no rule, that's a Bill Maher segment. And like that attitude, like, first of all, they're making comedies. It's not like comedy is dead. Comedy has moved to television and the internet, but there's still comedy movies. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie is like the funniest movie I've seen in a really long time. And it was in theaters. It wasn't in a lot of theaters, but it was in some of them. So you can find good comedy movies. The Naked Gun movie last year was a huge success. Friendship last year was a huge success. But like whatever. The trailer for this movie, for Scary Movie 6, makes the unforgivable sin of saying, look at how edgy we are. Isn't it cool that we're so badass? And we're like, there's no safe spaces here. It's got that like from the Twisted Mind of Matthew Vaughn thing going on where it's like, if you had Twisted Mind, you wouldn't have to tell us you had Twisted Mind. In the same way, it's like, if you really were challenging people and like making jokes that people weren't ready for, you wouldn't have to tell us that. Say what you will about the South Park guys, and man, South Park has its problems, but like they don't do that because it's embarrassing. But like later in the interview, you say something I think is actually really brave, and I do want to call that out. You say, we're gonna do what we always do. We're gonna make fun of everybody because we're equal opportunity offenders. So Marlon, this is a plea to you. You are making this movie. You're making fun of everybody. You're not pulling any punches. You're making fun of people with pronouns. You're making fun of Republicans. I want a joke like this in the movie. It's easy to do. I can pretty much tell you exactly where it would go. I'm sure there's going to be some scene where all of the main characters, or whoever survives the first killing, are going to meet and they're going to try to figure out what's going on. And everybody's together, Cindy, Brenda, Shorty, Ray, and they're all brainstorming like who could be the killer. And the joke is going to be that all of the things they're brainstorming are movies that exist. They're not going to say it, but like someone will be like, what if the killer is like an AI that's like gone crazy and wants to kill us all? And everybody will be like, oh man, it's so scary. That's going to be really, I don't know how we're going to deal with that. And then somebody else is like, what if it's like the concept of death and it's going to like drop things on us, things are gonna fall on us and we can't even avoid it. Is that gonna be so scary? And everybody's like, yo, that's even scarier than the robot. That's so scary. And then Marlon Wayans, your character, is gonna be like, or like, what if it's a football player? And everybody goes, huh? Like a crazy football player who like throws footballs at you and then you start bleeding and then you die. Isn't that, that's pretty scary, right? We like that? We think that's a good idea? And everybody gives them like a, but then also because like a lot of people probably don't remember him, I think you do have to beat people over the head with it. So you want one more beat when Ray's like, what if his wife is like Julia Fox? Is that something? And people like that? Then everybody's quiet. And then somebody says, or what if it's somebody's aunt and she's a witch who's making people kill each other? And then they just move on. Make fun of him. You made a horror movie and it bombed. I watched it. I did not like it. There were some parts of it that were good, but overall it just felt like it was super messy. Like this is what you do, right? You make fun of everybody. You make fun of people with pronouns. You make fun of Republicans. Make fun of yourselves. That will show me. That will give me confidence that you guys are not just taking shots at easy targets, people that everybody makes jokes about, that everybody has been making jokes about for a very long time. You made a horror movie and you are making a parody of the horror movie. You are the only person that can ever make this joke. It can only work with you, and it is at your expense, and it will be so funny in the theater. Like, people will love it, but you just have to be cool with being made fun of, like all those people with pronouns and all the Republicans, you know? So, like, just, you know, that's all you got to do. And like I said, I love the scary movies, and hey, you know, trailers aren't perfect. Maybe they didn't translate all the jokes. Some of the jokes did kind of almost work, so this could be better in context, but like, I don't know, if you guys don't make a joke in your parody movie about that movie you made that wasn't very good, what's the point? And I do think genuinely, like, the South Park guys are doing some of the best work when it comes to this stuff, and not all their jokes are funny, but like when they nail it, and they really did a couple of times this season, like they had some jokes that were so funny, it kind of makes all the jokes that didn't really work worthwhile, because it's like, you gotta take shots, you gotta try things. And I'm not talking about all the weird jokes they told about like global warming or trans people, because like there's a lot of stuff that the South Park guys have made that has aged very poorly. In fact, I watched a video recently by Lindsay, one of my favorites, and it's called "Is There Still a Very Special Place in Hell for Matt Stone and Trey Parker?" And I know what you're thinking, it's just going to be a person complaining about, oh, this joke wasn't nice and this joke wasn't. Like, no, because Lindsay does have like complicated feelings about South Park, because on one hand they are making really funny stuff, and they're making funny stuff that seems to genuinely piss off the people who need to be pissed off by funny stuff. But on the other hand, it's like some of their jokes, and specifically some of the social commentary within the jokes, is just so bad and ages so poorly, and it becomes something that like climate deniers really grab onto. And it's like kind of like, what's the responsibility of comedians who are clearly making jokes about politics when they age weird? Like, how are we supposed to think about that as people? I thought it was a really smart and interesting video, and you can watch that video along with tons of other exclusive stuff on this video sponsor, Nebula. You guys have heard me talk about Nebula before. It is a subscription streaming service that I helped to create. A bunch of us video essayists, and I don't like call myself a content creator, but like content creators got together and we were like, hey, these platforms we have to work with, they're great, but they have some problems. And the big one is we wanted to just make great videos, give them to you guys. We wanted to make a nice, clean, well-organized place where you can go to watch all of our videos. They all go up early, so every Nando V Movies video and Nando Cut video go up early. They're all ad-free. You can download them to your phone, which is a feature I don't hear nearly enough people talking about, but is incredibly useful. Like if you don't want to have to eat up all your data or deal with the Wi-Fi at the gym or something, download some videos, you'll have them with you. The videos on Nebula are all made by real people, and that didn't used to have to be a selling point, but now I think it might be the best selling point. There's also all kinds of cool videos you can only find on Nebula. Like Lindsay makes videos almost exclusively for Nebula. One of her most recent videos was about Bluey adults, and the one after that was about dash cam footage, so it really covers a pretty wide spectrum of things. Then you've got short films like Patrick Williams' Dinner Plan, or series like Maggie Mae Fish's Amy's Dead End Dream House. And you have what we haven't like fully announced, but will be coming out sometime next year, our show Subliminal. It's our first like dramatic series. I wrote an episode. I think it's pretty good. I've seen parts of it now because it's like coming together and been edited and all that, and like it looks great. I can't wait for you guys to see it. If you want to support us, give us more opportunities to do cool stuff like that, and you want to see our videos early, ad-free, download them and see other creators on Nebula, because all of your favorite creators and your next few favorite creators are on Nebula right now. Like there's something for everybody. And a yearly subscription to Nebula is $60 for a whole year. That is $5 a month. But if you go to go.nebula.tv/thenandocut, or the link in the description, or you use the QR code, you can get a year of Nebula for just $30. That is $2.50 a month. It is an incredible deal. Again, that is go.nebula.tv/thenandocut.